Hi, it's me again. Today I want to talk to you about how Kieran's diagnosis of autism has impacted on me as a person, as his mother, and about how it's affected my life and the way that my life changed direction. When Kieran was born, I worked for the NHS. I worked in GP computing, and I'd worked in the NHS since I was 22, so it was, part of who I was. And I always felt that my role and my job gave me a sense of purpose. I wasn't just somebody's mum, somebody's wife, somebody's daughter, their sister. I was Bernadette, and I made a difference. And I eventually went into emergency planning, and I was involved in the flu pandemic, and I was involved in the plans for the Olympics to ensure we could deliver healthcare. And it was interesting, good work, and I loved it. I loved my job. I worked full time, and after Kieran's diagnosis, my manager was fantastic and allowed me to change my contract, so I did term time only. So I was home for all the holidays for the boys. So it was a bit like being a full-time parent in the holidays, but then I had my full-time role while the boys were at school. So it was a really good balance. And it helped me because I understand and I know when you become a parent that your child now is your priority in life. It always is, always will be. And my boys are my priority. But part of being a good parent is to manage your own well-being and doing a job, having a role, having a purpose outside of the family home. That really does affect your well-being and your sense of who you are. And I loved it, I did. Although it was tiring sometimes, but anyway, I did like it. And when Kieran got to about 10, he became quite difficult, and things changed, which impacted on the whole family really. And it became apparent that I really couldn't work full time anymore because Kieran really needed me at home more. So I had to give up my job, and I'd done 24.5 years in the NHS. So it really was sort of part of who I was as a person. And I found it very, very difficult. I really found it difficult after I left that job because it took away part of who I was. And I struggled with that, and I know that people don't really understand, but I did find it very, very difficult. I spent the first year while Kieran, when Kieran was 10, looking for a secondary school provision for him, and it took me 11 months fighting to get him his secondary school provision, but anyway, we got that. It was fantastic. And then I decided I needed to work because I couldn't just be at home all the time. So I've managed to secure a job in a local primary school doing one-to-one support with children with autism. And I'd qualified as a teaching assistant in the time that I was off looking for a placement for Kieran. And I've done other courses like intensive interaction and what's in the box and different things that help with children who are on the spectrum. So I wasn't just wandering off the street. I did come with some qualifications that are required to do the role. And I've done that role for 6 years, although I've recently had to give that up as well. So I stopped working about 4 weeks ago now, because again, Kieran is an adult now, and Kieran needs me. And he needs me in a way that I can't be at work, and I can't, and giving Kieran everything he needs. So I had to make a choice. And really, there's no choice when you're a parent. Your choice is your child. It's always your child, even if they are a man-child. And that's another thing about having a child like Kieran, who is so severely autistic. It doesn't matter how old he is, he will always be my child. And it restricts me. And I'm not a selfish person, I'm not. But sometimes I feel it's not fair because my friends, my age group, their children are growing out of them. Their children are going off, doing their own thing. They're going to university or working or college. And my friends of my age, they can go and be themselves again. They can redefine who they were before they became just their parent, a parent. And I can't do that. I will always have a toddler. I will essentially always have a 2-year-old in a man's body. And if I want to do anything for the rest of my life, I'm going to have to put my man-child first. And I'm not selfish and I'm not complaining. But sometimes I think it's not fair. And I think it's not fair because I'm human and I have human thoughts and human emotions. And I really don't talk about it very often because for what benefit? You know, obviously my mum knows how I feel about things, and my sister and my brothers and my friends. And I've got lots of really, really good friends. My friends, if we're doing anything, my friends always work around my schedule. They want to know if Kieran's in respite, or they want to know if his dad's around to be able to look after him, so that if we're doing something, I can go too. I mean, how fortunate is that? And I know I'm fortunate. They do. They always put our needs first, which is it's incredible, really. I'm lucky in that respect. And I think there are people out there who've got their own Kieran who don't have that group of friends. So I am lucky. But this is it for life until we make the decision that Kieran will be living in some sort of supported accommodation. And that will happen. I'm not naive. It will happen. It's not going to happen yet. Everything's cool at the moment. He's 18. He's at school. We've just got his adult care package in place. So that will allow us time to recharge our batteries and go and do things that we can't do when we've got Kieran with us. But one day he'll be somewhere else. And that will be the time that my child has grown out of me. I suppose then I won't have to put him before everything else I do. And please don't think harshly of me if I sound as though I'm moaning or complaining. I'm not moaning or complaining. I just want you to realise that if you know somebody who's got a child like mine, they might need you to put them first, because they're living in a world where they always put somebody else first, and their child is not going to grow out of them. They're not, you know. And you know, there's support about, and we are lucky because we get some respite. It's just started again last week, so that means that I can go out with my friends, go out with my husband. We can take Daniel out. We can do things that we can't do with Kieran. I know we're very lucky. Not everybody's that lucky, and so just while we're thinking about autism and autism awareness, it's not always about the child. Sometimes it's about the parent, because we need looking after. No, I'm not going to like pretend we don't. I need looking after. I get looked after. I do. I get really looked after. When I had COVID recently, and my husband had it, I had 22 separate messages from different people asking if we needed support, if we needed any help, if we needed any shopping, if there's anything anyone could do. That's amazing, isn't it? 22 messages. So I am looked after. But I do have human thoughts. I do have human emotions. And I do think it's not fair. It's not fair. He should be growing out of me, you know. This isn't what we expected. But it's what we've got. He's a joy. He is. I love him. I really love him. And just as always, just be kind to each other, because we don't really understand what other people are going through. And just thanks for listening. God bless.